Today's music legend you should know is the legendary Romanian classical pianist Mindru Katz. As you could hear, he had quite a flair in his playing, and that extended to absolutely everything he played. And he had a huge repertoire. He was born in 1925 into a fairly prosperous Jewish family in Bucharest, and at a very early age was discovered by George Enescu, the legendary Romanian composer, pianist, violinist, and composer. And he started taking lessons at the Bucharest Conservatory when he was either 4 or 5 years old. This was highly unusual. And Enescu assigned to him the most prominent teacher. Her name was Florica Musicescu, and she taught some of the most famous Romanian classical pianists, among whom were Dinu Lipati, another legendary player. She never taught children, but Mindru was so extraordinary that she made an exception in his case. And right away, his talent was just so evident to everybody. And that Bach piece that you heard in the beginning was the Chromatic Fantasy and Fugue. And that's how I stumbled upon him. Just some sort of random thing came up online as I was looking at music. And I was absolutely blown away by the intensity of his playing, the emotional depth that he gave to this music. And I'd like to say about him, the more I learned about him, that his playing stands at the boundary between music and magic. There's been many, many, many great pianists with amazing technique and incredible style, but this guy had something special. The music was inside him. And when he played, it came out. The spirit of the music and the depth of the music. And he was so passionate about it. Every performance that's recorded of him, and there are many, you hear his passion and his absolute devotion to the inner meaning of the music. Of course, he played a lot of Russian composers, especially in his career after the Soviet Union took over the Eastern Bloc after World War II. He toured extensively in Eastern Europe, playing the Tchaikovsky Concerto, magnificently, of course. But he played really interesting music of Prokofiev and Khachaturian as well. Later in life, while he was touring in England, to great acclaim, he made the decision to defect. He wanted to leave Romania for many reasons. And he, being a Jew, emigrated to Israel, where he enjoyed a really wonderful career concertizing and also teaching. He was a very passionate teacher and really loved to impart his sense of music and wisdom to his students. There was a special BBC show about him where he talks about how deeply he dreams about music. This one really blew my mind. And you can listen to him talking about him solving some fingering problems in a dream.
It once happened that I was troubled by the etude in double thirds. One night I had a dream that the great Rubinstein, Arthur Rubinstein, came to me at home, and I asked him, how does he play that? And he took my hand, put it on the piano, and said, look, like that. Of course, in the morning I was very keen to know what exactly he showed me, but of course I couldn't discover. Then I went and I practiced. I practiced for a tour. I practiced the Tchaikovsky Concerto. And at the end of the 2 hours of practice, I tried to play this etude. And all of a sudden, the nasty passage was going absolutely perfect. That was one instance when the subconscious worked for solving a technical problem.
So this man was a very passionate musician. And he was not just a soloist. Of course, he played concertos with all the great orchestras in the world. A very famous recording of the Beethoven Emperor Concerto with Sir John Barbaroli that was recorded in England. But he also was a great chamber musician. And one of his most eminent partners was the great violinist Henrik Schering, one of the most legendary classical violinists of the 20th century. And they have a fantastic recording of the Franck Violin Sonata. So you get a chance to hear him interacting with another super stellar level musician, seamlessly interacting and playing just so beautifully. Well, Mindru Katz, he was also very famous for interpreting Beethoven. I think he played all the Beethoven piano sonatas and many other works of Beethoven. And he gradually began to suffer from a heart condition. I don't know if he publicized it or not, but he continued to concertize. And he was invited to play in Turkey, in Istanbul. And it's one of the very few videos made of him was made at a TV station in Istanbul just before his death. And I'm going to recount his death for you right now because his death happened in a very musical way. He was on stage playing the Beethoven Tempest Sonata when he was stricken with a heart attack, and he died at the keyboard. What a way to go, playing his favorite music for an audience. He actually told his nephew that he probably wouldn't be coming back from this tour. So, Mindru Katz, a truly transcendent pianist and musician, musical magician. And I have added several of his great recordings to my Spotify playlist.